Okay, so this is just a update on a little project I've been starting over the self-isolation period, and the idea is basically to build a Enigma machine, or at the very least to try and start making some of the rotors that go in at the back, and I'll see if I can find, maybe just try and make this system at the back where you have the rotors and the reflector, so that we can try and actually pass an electrical signal through the rotor stack, back through the reflector, and then back through the rotor stack, just as a proof of concept, if anything, before we start building the rest of it. In order to actually do that, I think it will probably be necessary to build up at least these side panels here, just so that we have something to stand it on, and also probably have the stepping mechanism, which you can't really see in this. So in terms of how far I've already got in this project, I've only just really begun, but I've started following these plans. You can see I've printed some of them out here, and then making 3D models, and then printing them out on my Ender 3D printer. So I've got them in this kind of copper filament, which I quite like, and they are very authentic based on the plans. If I can just take that apart. So I haven't done any of the inner electronics. You can see here I'm going to have to reprint this piece because I broke it, but I'm thinking about using nails to make the outer contacts, and then I'm still sourcing online the contacts that go in here, because they're meant to be spring loaded, and so that when you have one rotor stacked on top of another, it will make sure that there's always a connection even when it's turning. Then I've started putting these together with machine screws, and some of these will just go into the plastic. Some of them are tapped and dyed, and then others, for example in the reflector here, I've actually put some of the nuts into the plastic, and then I can screw in so that it stays flush with the plastic and is a stronger bond than there might be if it was just screwed into the plastic itself. Now, in terms of what I need to work out in the coming weeks, I've got to work out what I'm going to use to make these little metal plugs, and then I'm hoping that the spring-loaded pins will work. I still need to order them, and then I'm hoping that, at least by the end of isolation, I will have worked out a solution where I can have spring contacts, and I can actually start to make the rotors go on the rotor stack. Now, in terms of what I'm thinking for the rotor stack itself, I'm going to probably make the base out of wood, probably, I don't know, not MDF, maybe plywood, just as a starter. And then I'm not really sure. I'll try and 3D print these side panels here, but I'm probably going to have to end up making them out of wood, because I don't think the 3D printed material will be strong enough. Unless, of course, I slightly modify my 3D printer in order to be able to print with nylon. Additionally, I think I'm going to have to change some of these cross pieces here into metal. I can probably get that online. And also this rod here I'm probably going to replace with this metal rod, just because I had it lying around and it's almost exactly the right diameter. I haven't thought about how I'm going to make these. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So yeah, I think in terms of what I'm going to design next, because I can't really do anything more on these until I've sourced the spring-loaded contacts, I'm probably going to finish designing these side panels. And also you can see here there's this lever arm, and what this does is, if you can see here, there's these sort of they're not cams, but they sort of serve almost the same function. Basically, this lever arm has two poles which stick out the side, and when you rotate it one way, it's pushing on these, so it's locked in, and when you push it round, it goes down into these furrows here, and it will allow this to come out and let you swap out the rotors. I think for a start I'm only going to make 3 rotors, but of course there are actually 5 rotors on this kind of Enigma. But I think, I've still got to get one working with all of its electronics in, and I don't think I'll make another one until I have all of the electronics in this one working. This is FreeCAD, the program I'm designing all the parts in, and you can see that this is a model of this piece here. And actually I had a few troubles with this model because in my initial print I put the hole in the wrong orientation, so you can see the difference here. So basically this hole was rotated through 60 degrees to the wrong side, and now you can see everything lines up perfectly, and it fits on like that onto the larger piece. And so once I've designed something on there, I can export it as an STL and then slice it to be 3D printed. And the reason I chose to use this software was mainly because of the price of all of the competitor software. I think other softwares which are often used are Autodesk and SolidWorks, and well, firstly, a few of those don't work on Macs, and this is completely open sourced and free, whereas those ones can set you back thousands of pounds. Now, once I've exported it as an STL, I can put it into my slicer, which is Ultimaker Cura, and this is a different part, obviously. And you can see I'm actually previewing it. It's a very small part. Normally I probably wouldn't even laser cut this. Sorry, I wouldn't 3D print this, I would laser cut it, because it is just a flat object. But at the present moment I don't have access to a laser cutter, and so I will 3D print it. It's only a 16-minute thing, so yeah, hopefully that won't take too long. And then yeah, I'll put it on my Ender 3. So all I need to do that is save it to a removable drive, which is this one here. Eject it. Hopefully it will say I can take it. Then just remove the SD card from there, and if I can focus on that, yeah, I just need to put this in, and when I select this, it will start heating up to 50 degrees for the bed and 200 degrees for the extruder. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Pritt stick on there, just to hopefully make it stick better. and yeah.